Hello YouTube. Today we're going to be sanding the hood down with 2000 grit. We're going to remove this orange peel. Now I will actually go on an 800 grit if it's actually a little bit too much peel in some areas. Just remember that I'm prepping a flow glaze, and I'm also going to overcheck everything, make sure there's no high or low points. Now as you look through the reflection, you can see the orange peel, and I laid it down thick, and I use a 1.3 nozzle. And now a lot of people like to make sure that you can reduce it a lot, but with these old school cars, I actually like to wait to the last coat to put a little bit more thinner. Like this is a 4:3:1 ratio type of paint right now that I'm using. It's single stage. It's a custom gray color. Now, because I wanted to make sure that this car was going to get a Resto Mod type of restore. Now, as you can see, I'm using 2000 grit, like I said, 3M wet. You want to soak it in water for about 30 minutes or so. The panel was so heavily rusted at one point. I want to make sure that even though I did my rust preventative, I stripped it down to bare metal. I treated all the rust. I removed all of the non-surface rust too by cutting it out and welding in new patches and making sure that it was gone 100%. And then I did my primer and everything else like that. I chemically converted it with acetic acid before the primer. So I'm not worried about rust on this anytime soon. The underside of this has been painted. Now when you start to wet sand, and I sprayed my blends. As you can see, that area is shiny. I blended it into the rest of the panel. And then I'm going to actually wet sand it, and it's pretty much a lot of the orange peel is gone. But like I said, I sprayed it on thick, so the orange peel is going to return a little bit in some areas. And I'm actually doing it on purpose, because one tip with these custom cars is you're going to want to lay down some extra material. And a lot of people are going to actually kind of frown when I'm saying that, because they don't really understand how painters work in some ways. With some cars, if you lay it down a little bit thicker and you get the orange peel appearance, you're going to have a really good finish once you do your cutting and buffing. Now, a lot of people like to aim to get a mirror finish right off their gun, and I can do that for you. All you have to do is reduce your paint to the right amount. And I always like to reduce to the correct amount. Although on the first coat, I do like to shy off on the reducer a little bit, and I like to use the correct specs all the time. But I'm just telling you this is a little trick I like to do, and it won't affect the paint ever. If you just shy off the reducer a little bit, it will come out a little bit thicker on your gun and leave a thicker material surface for you to wet sand, and you're going to have a flat mirror finish once you're done. Now, it already looks shiny enough. Yes, it looks sort of mirror-ish. You can see the orange peel, but you get what I'm saying. It's going to be so flat, just like how I can get the other cars to this type of showroom finish. Now, that's the finish that you're going to be paying, the 15 grand, 20 grand for, for a spectacular pearl coat, two-tone candy paint job, all that type of stuff with like 4 layers of clear coat, sanding and buffing in between. And I know I'm just doing single stage on this build, unlike some other cars where I do clear coat over the single stage, or I do base. This is a solid color, so I knew that the single stage would most likely come out even better once you cut and buff than a clear coat on top of it. Now, if you do want to put even more protection, you could throw a clear coat on top, but I'm telling you that this car, you wouldn't be able to really get it much more shiny once you cut and buff this. Yes, there are some clear coats that do pronounce the type of paint you're using, but this type of paint I'm using is already so glossy that I know once I cut and buff it and I wet sand it, it's gonna have the finish that I'm looking for. I already told you guys it's probably gonna take another coat or two. I like putting down the first coat thick, and then I cut it down with 1000 grit or 2000, depending on the areas. Now, make sure you always start with a higher grit if you want to make sure that the panel isn't too thin. Like, this is my first coat, so that's why I'm using 2000 grit, because I'm just prepping it to get another coat over it. I don't want to remove so much material that I'm working to kind of coat it over again, so when you cut and buff, there's no chance of having issues. Because that's one thing on why people put extra clear coats on certain cars. Unless you're like burying rally stripes, the extra clear coats are not going to get it clearer than the second or third coat. It's just going to give you more material to actually buff and cut to make sure that you can get that mirror finish that you're looking for. Now, right now, this is at the beginning stage, so it has literally the most amount of orange peel it's ever going to see right now. Most people would say, oh man, that's really orange peel. Are you going to leave it like that? No, I'm not. This is what my technique is. Some people have different techniques, but on cars like this that have had heavy rust, heavy repair just to get them back to like new condition, you're going to want to have an extra little safety lever or safety button, you're going to say, and this is that safety button. You're going to be able to see anything that you want to fix before you spray down that final coat. And this single stage is a 4:3:1 ratio, like I told you. So, I actually am waiting to spray that super thin final coat at the end, because right now, as you can tell, it's looking pretty good. Has a lot of orange peel, so you're not going to see as much shine as you want right now. But as soon as I cut and buff that, you guys will be looking at this panel like it's glass. Now, this is another thing. I put this as cutting orange peel down as the title, because a lot of people, when you buy a car from factory, there is a factory orange peel type of texture on the clear coat, and the only bad part about not being custom is on standard paint jobs, their clear coat is super thin. They just do it to just pretty much enough to cover the panel for a certain amount of years and to withstand standard roads. Custom cars, just like this build, we usually like to put a little extra care, and we put a little bit more thicker film. Not a lot, and I know not every painter's like that, but I've seen it that people, when they spray their paint so thin and they go over like a 5-year period, you'll see that their coat is peeling or fading away or oxidizing in the sun. The best part about putting extra on there, not enough that where the millimeters are incorrect. Yes, we all know that you can scan and get the right amount of depth paint, but what I'm trying to say is this will still give you that correct amount of depth paint once you cut and buff it. Right now it's going to be a little heavier, but that's on purpose, because right now I'm going to go over it. Like I said, we're going to check for imperfections after I wet sand it. Now, I like to use a block. You can also, I don't recommend using your hand unless you're truly skilled and you know your panel. Now, this is 2000 grit, so even if you did use your hand, just a little bit of like a scuff up, you're not really going to have a chance of marring it. So, yeah. Alright, YouTube, the best thing you could do is actually lay down water on the whole panel, and that will actually give you like a smooth surface to get on. And as you can see, there's no friction, it slides easily, and this way, you're not going to gouge the paint. It's still freshly curing. There's water throughout the whole panel, water on the whole panel right now. I'm block sanding, as you can see. Just take your water, just douse your, panel. Splash it around. That way, when you're getting in there, when you're working away all this orange peel, let's just see, I'm slightly cutting away at it already. And I'm one of those people who believes a little extra water is not going to harm it. Now, it might not cut as fast when you actually just keep pouring on the water, but I actually rather have the protection and take more time working on the panel, especially on a restoration. This isn't like a collision job where it's pretty much plug and play. You get a brand new panel, you get to weld it on. Restorations, you're trying to fix something because, one, you want to save the original panel because it upsells the value of the car. 2, it's hard to find some sheet metal for these cars. And 3, it's a totally different ballgame than collision work. And one of my mentors back in the day, he owns a collision shop. I want to thank him for everything he's taught me. If he ever watches this, thank you for being a good mentor. But I'm sure he'll even agree that collision work is totally different than restorations. I've learned from a few different people over there at his shop. A lot of good people over there. Does great work. But no negative. I'm just saying the restoration end of his shop, which is into collision work, it's a totally different ball game. I learned from the guy over there. His name was Barry. He's been doing it for 40 years, and he's taught me a few tips, helped me along with a few cars, and very happy for knowing these people in the past and still knowing a lot of them now. It's just that a lot of people are getting older now. So, just trying to say, you're not too old to learn. So, if you ever find some new way to do things, and it's actually easier than you're doing it or more effective, don't be shy to learn just because it came from someone older or younger than you. There's really a lot of things wrong with this industry too, and that's the amount of criticism that some people do on these social media pages. And I'm not one of those people. I rather lift some people up. So that's why I keep putting a lot of these professional tips online, little secrets that I know that make this go along a lot easier. As you can see, take your time, just work the panel, and I like the hand sand when it's just like something like this. Now, a lot of people will argue with you, and they say you're going to need a block, but this is old school wet sanding tips, guys. Come on, you're using 2000 grit. What's the chances you're going to fuck something up right now? I've been doing this for a long time. I know how to press on these panels. I know how to spray these panels. And like I said, I'm never too old to learn or never too young to not learn something. I'm very thankful for everyone who's taught me different ways to do things. You know, everyone likes a different style, and that's what I was trying to say about the social media. It's I think a lot of people out there have grown accustomed to their own ways, and they don't know how to teach others, or they're in fear of others being better than them, or they like to rip people down where they see them as lesser than them. Just like me, I'm not an import guy. You know, I do like a few, supercars and stuff like that. You know, I do like some Porsches, and, whether you say Porsche or Porsche, there's a lot of people out there that are gonna rip on anyone for almost anything that they do. And I'm not one of those people. I'm really here just trying to show you guys how to restore some cars and get professional work. Especially, I'm trying to teach others, just like others have taught me in the past, so that I could do professional work in this line of career choice. Now I'm an electrical contractor during the day. I'm back to work already, so everyone stay safe out there with the coronavirus going on. And I really hope everyone isn't lessening on their precautions to keep others safe. Now, I'm actually from Jersey, so that's why a lot of the cars I'm dealing with have probably a little more rust than you guys out there in Arizona and stuff like that. So, just shout out to you guys out there. So I'm sure you guys are a lot safer out there. New Jersey's pretty much one of the worst states right now still, and we're working on getting back to work. I still have to wear a mask at work and stuff like that. I'm sure like almost everywhere and almost in the world right now. But yeah, I just really am trying to teach you guys some new stuff. I know a lot of this stuff is some old tricks too. Hey man, sometimes the old tricks are the best tricks on how to get things done. There's so many different ways to do things that I just think that sometimes even the core principles are good to do too, just to make sure you're fundamentally still, doing the right thing. Now, I love seeing all these cars restored at any level: daily driver, quick flip, showpiece, resto mod, you name it, rat rod, patina. Like this would have been a perfect patina car, but I wanted to go for the resto mod showroom finish. I'm trying to get a little bit more extra money out of it because I know what these cars are worth. You guys ever check out that Hell Wagon that's Maine? I forget which company. I think it's this guy named Dennis, and he does And forgive me for not remembering his full name, but he usually does partnerships with Richard Rawlings at Gas Monkeys, stuff like that. And I know they get bad rep too because he likes to charge an arm and a leg for things. But if you guys think about it, you know, these cars are truly worth that value that he does try to sell them for. It's just that the average day person, you know, the average Joe, middle class, or, you know, people who don't make more than like 60 grand a year, you know, they're not going to be able to afford these type of cars once you're done restoring them. Heck, you know, I wouldn't be able to probably buy half the cars I've restored in the past for how much I sold them for, because they're worth that once they're done, like resto mods and stuff like that. You know, of course, I put the cash away and I save it to build the next car. And, you know, I have my own bills and I'm trying to, you know, build up this shop. This shop is very small, you know, just have a few people who help me right now and stuff like that. But, you know, it's not the biggest shop still. So, you know, I'm still growing each day. You know, I do love learning and appreciating the work that I do. And, you know, one day I won't be doing electrical full-time. I'll be doing cars full-time. Like right now, I still do a lot of client cars or other people's work going on that gets thrown at me. Like if someone needs me to weld some stuff at their house or anything else like that. You know, I'm going around and I'm doing odds and end jobs too. Or like if someone wants lights on their car, you know. I'm starting out small, and, you know, I'm still taking on full resprays, anything anyone wants, custom paint jobs just like this, you know. I know it's not a candy paint job, and it's not, you know, that it's not sparkled up with, like, a whole bunch of metallic flakes or anything like that, but I noticed this is a custom color I chose. It's really close to that modern Mopar Jeep Chrysler color that they keep putting on Jeep Cherokees, and I'm trying to go with the trend, and I love that color too. I could have chose any color I wanted. I originally was going to go with like a sea green because, you know, the name of this car is Ariel, and, you know, I was going to go with a more, you know, lighter color. The interior on this car originally used to be like a baby blue, but when I received it, it was faded, so there was nothing I could do with trying to just leave it in the condition I got it and do a quicker flip, you know. So I had no floors, you know, I put in about 52 panels on this car already. I still have to do a few more patches, and that's why I'm working on things like piece by piece, and I'm trying to tackle this car in a timely manner and, you know, get it done. Now, the timeline on these classic cars, everyone always likes to make unreasonable timelines for themselves. I'm one of them. It was like, yeah, you know, I'll finish this car in 30 days, you know. But when you're one man working on it by yourself, day in, day out, with an occasional help here and there from your friend or somebody you hire for like a worker, you know. I have a few buddies I call in, or a few friends. They just help out for free because I like to teach them some things, and I help them on their projects too. And some people just genuinely love cars, so they just want to help and work on them. You know, I never turn down help. Like, you know the saying, like, don't bite the hand that feeds you. But like, let's say someone's helping you, and it's you know, speeding up your project. You're still getting the same results you want. They're happy. They're having fun with you. And someone's offering help. I've learned you don't just shut that person out. You let them in, you know. A lot of people love to just tackle projects and be like, I fully did that all by myself. And yes, most of this car I did by myself. Almost 95% of it. But the other 5%, I've had some friends help, and I'm thankful for it. The Camaro that I built a little while back that's still for sale. It's going to be on a description link at the end of this video. Just, that car is all out done, rotisserie built. I've had help with that car, and I want to thank everyone who had help with that build. Now, I put over 3,000 hours in that car by myself. So, for me, if someone says a car can't be saved, what do you think I'm going to do? I save it. So, these projects that I choose, they might not be the quickest flips, but, with a heart of gold and a lot of love and true passion and skill like I have, I want to save these cars, It's better than seeing someone scrap the car out or use it as parts just because they don't want to fix the floor or, put extra hours in, because it's not going to be as beneficial for this shop. As I get bigger too, I'm still going to take on projects just like this. I'll still have faster cars because I want stuff that I want to be able to flip fast. But this is what it's really all about, guys. When you can stand back and look at your car, that's all primer. And you can just sit there and be like, wow, I remember when I got this one. This is a real POS. The whole doors were smashed in. People kicked them in. This used to be a plow car, so people actually used it with the plow package. As you can see, I got the plow package support on there. I undercoated the bumper, and I got to spray another coat of undercoat on the bumpers, and I plan to do that in a little while once I'm fully done with the build. Because if there's like a scratch or anything that happens like that, you got to make sure that I can have this at the showroom finish that I want. Now, if you see any like dust and like that kind of look like this is actually the wet sanding dust that you get. So guys, just take your time with your projects. I'm someone who loves to get something done fast too. But, just think, these cars have lasted since 64. You'll find something like a Model T that's been around for almost 100 years, or other cars just like that. And these cars deserve to be brought back, So, if you ever find something and you just are about to give up because there's just so much rust, just take it on one place at a time on the car. Take it from me, Just tackle one area at a time. You're never going to be able to tackle the whole car at once if you're one person. If you're a team of 10, go ahead, rip everything down by the end of the night, because you'll be able to get it pretty much halfway disassembled and pretty much have it ready for a sandblaster. And who knows, maybe you'll have the interiors recarpeted already. Who knows, maybe you'll have your interior seats already reupholstered by then if you have the material on hand. Because I know I can reupholster a seat in less than 30 minutes for the bottom half. So if you got both ends, you give me about an hour and a half for the front seat, give or take, so I can take a little smoke break or something like that, eat some food, and I get a little bit of buffer time, then I know that I'll be able to get that job professionally done. I'll get the results I want, and the customer will be happy. I've done so many seat jobs already. Now, everyone's going to have different parts of building cars that they're good at. Some people can't even do all of the things that some people else can do. So don't feel like you're less than anyone else if you can't tackle certain tasks, because you can always teach yourself. Just take time. No one else is better than anyone else in the world. They just might have a little bit more time and practice in on something. So if you can actually get your hands on something, work on it, and not be afraid to have to do more work or go back and do something again, then you really aren't scared to do anything. You're allowed to actually have a few blemishes on your car if you're not going for a showroom finish. So if you have a little blemish on your restore and it's like your first or second restore, don't you dare rip yourself down. You're doing amazing. Some people can't even restore cars. So if you can't even do anything that I can do yet, and I'm not even talking about me, I just know I can do pretty much almost anything in the car industry, from working on motors to upholstery to fixing a car that can't be fixed, like welding wise, straightening out a frame or anything like that. I could do that. I can fix frames too, correctly and professionally. I just think that people are afraid to feel like they're not in control. And when you're trying to learn something from the beginning, you're not in control. You don't know anything yet. You're in unknown field that is gonna scare some people. And that's why I have these videos here. I don't want people to feel scared about unknown things they haven't done yet. I want them to be able to look at my videos and be like, wow, he's making this seem so simple. And they'll be able to get the same results. Alright guys, now I already sanded this down with 2000 grit. Now a lot of the orange peel is still here. Like I told you, you still see a lot of water on the panel. Like I'm rubbing my hand like it's drenched, because I didn't clear off this panel yet of the water. I am watching it air dry pretty much as I'm talking, because I talk so much. And that's okay. You don't need to wipe it off until you're going to actually spray it, because it's going to leave a film on there. You can go around and wipe stuff off as you wet sand, so you don't have as much to worry about. But you'll get this type of film that you're going to have to clean off. So when you can, you're going to want to clean it off. I put filler there because I'm working on some stuff still. Like I said, this coat is going to be showing you what to do. Alright guys, I got the doors sprayed too, so I got to work on that. And like I said, I'll show you guys how to remove the overspray on the windows in another video. I did that on purpose so you guys can see how to remove overspray no matter how thick it is. So just stay tuned on how to fix that. I already have like a little short video about it, but I'll go more in depth on that later. But tonight's pretty much at its end. You could tell, sun's setting. I'm going to call it a night. I'm going to go into my shop, clean up a little bit. And overall, I'm pretty happy with the wet sanding. It removed any, like, if you did get accidental debris, let's say that your booth with some dust kind of fly up from like a crevice of a panel, like right here, you got a little dust, it flies up. That's what wet sanding is perfect for too. It'll pull those little dust particles out, and then you'll be pretty much good, and you'll be able to spray the next coat. So if there's any little like nibs, you'll actually be able to cover those with the next coat of base or clear. Because depending if you got the dirt in on your clear or base, that's what you're gonna have to respray over the top of it to hide it. Now once this dries, I'm gonna take a look at it tomorrow, and I'm gonna see if I need to fill or knock down anywhere with a hammer. Now I have hammers that won't damage the paint. I'm just saying, if there's any high spots, I'll be able to tackle that later. So stay safe out there, guys. Spread love and light, and remember to subscribe if you want to watch more daily videos like this. Thanks again, guys. Have a good day.